My fiancé's twin brother slept in my bed pretending to be him the night of my bachelorette party, and my fiancé said it was just a harmless family tradition, so I called off our wedding days before the ceremony. I am sitting in my apartment right now and the silence feels strange. 4 months ago I was supposed to get married at Glenview Gardens. Instead, I spent the day on my best friend's couch watching reality TV and eating takeout Chinese food straight from the container. My parents paid for the venue. My dress hung in my closet for 2 weeks after everything fell apart before I could look at it. I donated it last month to a charity that helps women who cannot afford wedding dresses. This whole thing started years before the actual incident. I met Brad, 29M, when I was 24 and he was 25. We went to college together at Melville University. He was in my economics class and kept asking to borrow my notes even though I knew he had his own. After the third time I told him he needed to just take his own notes or buy me coffee. He bought me coffee. That was 6 years ago. We dated for 2 years before he proposed. The proposal happened at the same coffee shop where we had our first official date. He got down on one knee right next to the table where we used to study together. The ring was his grandmother's. It was gold with a small diamond and I wore it every single day for the next year while we planned the wedding. Brad worked as an accountant at a firm downtown. I worked in marketing for a small company that made kitchen appliances. Our lives were normal. We had dinner with my parents every other Sunday. His parents lived 2 hours away in Clearwater and we visited them once a month. His twin brother Sammy, 29M, lived in the same city as Brad's parents and worked at their father's hardware store. Sammy and Brad were identical twins. They looked exactly the same. Same height, same build, same haircut most of the time. Same voice. When I first met Sammy at a family barbecue I actually walked up and kissed him on the cheek thinking he was Brad. Everyone laughed. Sammy thought it was hilarious. Brad thought it was funny too. I learned to check for small differences. Brad had a tiny scar on his left eyebrow from a childhood accident. Sammy did not. The wedding was set for June 15th. We picked a Saturday. My parents put down the deposit for Glenview Gardens in January. The guest list had 150 people. My mom helped me pick out invitations. We sent them out in March. Everything was moving forward exactly as planned. 3 weeks before the wedding we had our bachelor and bachelorette parties. Brad wanted to go to Las Vegas with his friends. I told him I preferred if we kept things low-key. We had a long conversation about it. He said his brother and his friends were planning something big. I said I was not comfortable with strip clubs or anything that felt disrespectful to what we were about to promise each other. He agreed. We settled on him going to a sports bar with the guys and then maybe a casino night at his friend's house. I planned a wine tasting with my bridesmaids followed by dinner. The bachelorette party was on a Friday night. Brad's bachelor party was the same night. My bridesmaids picked me up at 6. We went to 3 different wineries outside the city. By the time we got to dinner I had drunk more wine than I usually would in a month. My best friend Sarah, 28F, kept refilling my glass and saying I needed to relax. I did not usually drink that much. At dinner I could barely read the menu. We got back to the apartment I shared with Brad around midnight. I remember walking up the stairs. Sarah helped me with my keys. I remember going into the bedroom and seeing someone in the bed already. The lights were off but I could see the shape of a person under the covers. I assumed it was Brad. I assumed his plans ended early. I changed into my pajamas in the bathroom and brushed my teeth. Then I got into bed. The person in the bed rolled over and kissed me on the forehead. I kissed back quickly and said something about being tired. Then I fell asleep immediately. I woke up at 11 the next morning. My head hurt. I stayed in bed for another 30 minutes trying to decide if I wanted to get up. Then I heard voices in the living room. Male voices. Plural. I got up and walked out of the bedroom. Brad was sitting on the couch. Sammy was sitting in the armchair next to the couch. They were both drinking coffee. They were both laughing about something. I stood in the doorway and looked at them. Brad looked up and grinned. He said good morning. Sammy waved. I asked why Sammy was there. Brad said Sammy crashed at our place after the bachelor party. Then Sammy started laughing harder. He said he did not just crash on the couch. Brad joined in laughing. I stood there waiting for them to explain. Sammy said he slept in my bed. He said Brad slept at their friend Dave's house because Dave lived closer to the sports bar. He said he came back to our apartment instead because it was closer to where they ended up and Brad gave him the keys. Then he said the best part was that I came home and got into bed with him and did not even realize it was not Brad. I looked at Brad. He was still grinning. He said it was hilarious. He said Sammy texted him right after I fell asleep and he could not stop laughing about it. I asked if he was serious. He said yes. Sammy said I even kissed him goodnight. Brad said that part was the funniest thing he had heard in months. I walked back into the bedroom. I sat on the edge of the bed. I could hear them still talking and laughing in the living room. I looked at the bed. I looked at the pillow where I woke up. I thought about the person I kissed last night. I thought about how I could not tell the difference. I started thinking about what could have happened if I woke up in the middle of the night and wanted to be close to who I thought was my fiancé. I went back to the living room. I asked Sammy to leave. He stopped laughing. He said he was just about to head out anyway. He left. Brad stayed on the couch. He asked if I was okay. I said no. I said what they did was not okay. He said nothing happened. I said that was not the point. He said I was overreacting. I said he let another man sleep in our bed with me and did not tell me. He said it was Sammy, not some random guy. He said it was just a joke. I asked how he would feel if my sister pretended to be me and got into bed with him. He said that was different. I asked how. He said because Sammy was his brother and they did this kind of thing all the time growing up. He said it was a family tradition to prank each other. He said their dad and uncle did the same thing to their wives before they got married. He said it was harmless. I said it was not harmless to me. He said I was making it weird. He said I was turning a funny story into some big dramatic thing. I said I did not find it funny. He said maybe I needed to lighten up. I said maybe he needed to apologize. He said he would not apologize for something that was not a big deal. We went back and forth like this for an hour. Finally, he said I should go stay with Sarah for a few days and clear my head. He said I was being dramatic and he did not want to deal with it right now. He said we could talk about it after I calmed down. I packed a bag. I left. I stayed at Sarah's apartment. She lived alone in a one-bedroom place downtown. She gave me her bed and slept on the couch. I did not hear from Brad for 3 days. On the 4th day his mother called me. She said Brad told her what happened. She said I was being unreasonable. She said boys will be boys. She said it was a harmless prank and I was going to ruin the wedding over nothing. I hung up on her. On the 5th day Brad's father called. He said I needed to come home and work this out. He said their family had a lot of money invested in this wedding and I was being disrespectful. I told him I did not ask them to pay for anything. He said they paid for the rehearsal dinner and that was not cheap. I hung up on him too. Sarah kept telling me I was right to be upset. My parents came over on the 6th day. My mom brought groceries. My dad sat with me and asked what I wanted to do. I said I did not know. He said I did not have to know right now. He said they would support whatever I decided. My mom hugged me and said the same thing. On the morning of the wedding Brad called. It was 8 in the morning. I answered. He asked if I was done with my tantrum. Those were his exact words. I asked if he was serious. He said yes. He said the wedding was in 6 hours and he needed to know if I was coming. I said no. He started yelling. He said I was throwing away 6 years over a stupid joke. He said I would regret this for the rest of my life. He said no one else would put up with me. He said I was difficult and dramatic and he was doing me a favor by marrying me. I hung up. I called my parents. They started making phone calls. Most of the guests had not traveled yet because the wedding was local for my family and I had told people to wait and confirm their plans closer to the date because of some vendor issues we had earlier. My parents called everyone on my side. Brad's parents called everyone on their side. The venue kept the deposit. The caterer kept half. The photographer kept her deposit too. I spent the day at Sarah's apartment. We ordered pizza. We watched 3 movies. My mom came by in the evening with my dad. They sat with us. Nobody said much. My mom held my hand. My dad told bad jokes. Sarah ordered more food. We ate cake that was supposed to be for the wedding. My mom had picked it up from the bakery that morning before they could throw it away. Update 1: It has been 3 weeks since I wrote the original post. A lot happened. I am still at Sarah's apartment, but I started looking at my own place. I cannot keep sleeping in her bed while she takes the couch. 2 days after the cancelled wedding I got an email from Brad's father. It was a spreadsheet. He listed every single expense related to the wedding that he and Brad's mother paid for. The rehearsal dinner was $4,000. They paid for hotel rooms for some of Brad's relatives from out of state. That was another $2,000. They bought new suits for Brad and Sammy. They paid for the bachelor party expenses. The total came to $9,000. At the bottom of the email, he wrote that I needed to reimburse them in full since I was the one who called off the wedding. I forwarded the email to my dad. He called me 10 minutes later. He said to ignore it. He said they could not legally make me pay them back. He said if they wanted to take me to court they could try but they would lose. I said I just wanted this over with. He said he understood. The next day I got another email from Brad's mother. She said I also needed to pay the cancellation fees for the venue and the caterer since I was the one who backed out. She said it was only fair. I did not respond to that one either. I called the venue myself. They said the cancellation policy was clear and the deposit was non-refundable. My parents lost $3,000 on that. The caterer said the same thing. My parents lost another $1,500 there. I told my parents I would pay them back. My dad said absolutely not. He said they were happy to lose that money if it meant I did not marry Brad. A week after the wedding date Sarah and I went to get my things from the apartment. I texted Brad the day before and said I was coming. He did not respond. I texted again the morning of and said I would be there at 2. He responded with one word. Fine. When we got there Brad was on the phone. He was talking loud enough that I could hear him from the hallway. He was telling whoever was on the other end about his crazy ex-fiancé who lost her mind over a harmless joke. Sarah squeezed my hand. We walked in. Brad stayed on the phone the entire time. He sat on the couch and kept talking. I packed my clothes. I packed my books. I packed my kitchen stuff that I brought when I moved in. Sarah helped me carry boxes down to her car. We made 4 trips. Brad did not say a single word to me. When we were done, I left my key on the counter. I walked out. That night Sammy texted me. He said he wanted to apologize. He said he did not realize I would be that upset. He said it really was just a joke in their family. He said he felt bad about how everything turned out. I did not respond. Yesterday I signed a lease on a studio apartment in a different part of the city. It is small, but it is mine. I move in next week. Sarah is helping me buy some basic furniture. My parents gave me money for a bed and a couch even though I told them I did not need it. I also blocked Brad on everything. His number, social media, email. I blocked his parents too. I blocked Sammy after his apology text. I do not want any contact with any of them. My mom asked if I was okay. I said yes. She did not look convinced, but she dropped it. Sarah asked the same thing. I gave her the same answer. I am filling out job applications for positions in other companies. I want a fresh start. I want to be somewhere where nobody knows about the wedding that did not happen. Update 2 months have passed since my last update. I moved into my studio apartment. It is quiet here. I bought a small couch from a thrift store and a table from IKEA. My bed is just a mattress on the floor right now, but it works. Sarah comes over twice a week and we cook dinner together. My parents visited last weekend and brought me a coffee maker and some plants. Last month I got a new job. Different company, same kind of work. The pay is slightly better. My new boss seems reasonable. Nobody at this job knows anything about Brad or the wedding. I did not tell anyone. When people ask if I am married or dating, I just say no and change the subject. 3 weeks ago Brad's mother found my new phone number somehow. She called me at work. I stepped outside to take the call. She said she wanted to talk. She said Brad was having a hard time. She said he was drinking more than usual. She said he blamed me for everything. She said if I really loved him I would reach out and fix this. I told her I did not love him anymore. She started crying. I hung up. I changed my number the next day. I gave the new number to my parents, Sarah, and my close family. Nobody else. I told my job to not give out my contact information to anyone. Last week I found out through a mutual friend that Brad is on dating apps already. Multiple apps. The friend sent me screenshots. His profile says he is looking for something serious. It says he wants to settle down. It says he is family oriented. I looked at the photos. He is smiling in all of them. He looks exactly the same as he did when we were together. I deleted the screenshots. I told the friend I did not want updates about Brad. She said she understood. Yesterday Sarah told me she ran into Sammy at a grocery store. She said he asked about me. She said he looked uncomfortable. She said she did not tell him anything. She just said I was doing fine and walked away. I started going to a gym near my apartment. I go 3 times a week in the mornings before work. I started reading again, something I stopped doing when I was planning the wedding. I finished 4 books last month. I am working on my 5th one now. My cousin is getting married next spring. She asked if I would be a bridesmaid. I said yes. She asked if I was bringing a date. I said no. She said that was fine. She did not ask about Brad. I appreciated that. My dad called me last Sunday. He said he was proud of me. He said he knew the last few months were difficult. He said I handled everything with more grace than most people would have. I did not know what to say to that, so I just said, thank you. Update 3. It has been 4 months since I called off the wedding. I am writing this final update because some things happened that I think close out this whole situation. 2 weeks ago I got a letter in the mail. It was from Sammy. I do not know how he got my new address. The letter was 2 pages long. He apologized again. He said he talked to his parents and they all realized they were wrong. He said Brad was wrong too, but Brad would not admit it. He said the prank was not funny and he understood why I left. He said he hoped I was doing well. At the end he wrote that their family has a lot of problems and he was trying to work on his part in all of it. I read the letter twice. Then I put it in a drawer. I did not respond. I do not plan to respond. The apology does not change what happened. But I kept the letter anyway. Last week Sarah told me that Brad got engaged. She heard it from the same mutual friend who sent me the dating app screenshots. The engagement happened fast. He has been dating this new woman for less than 2 months. Sarah asked if I wanted to know more details. I said no. I thought about it for a few days after Sarah told me. I thought about Brad moving on so quickly. I thought about him proposing to someone after 2 months when we dated for 2 years before he proposed to me. I thought about how that new woman probably does not know what happened with me. I thought about warning her. Then I decided it was not my responsibility. She will figure it out on her own eventually. My parents took me out for dinner on what would have been my 4-month wedding anniversary. We did not talk about Brad or the wedding. We talked about my new job and my apartment and my cousin's upcoming wedding. My mom mentioned that she saw Brad's mother at the grocery store and Brad's mother looked away and walked in the other direction. My mom said she was glad she did not have to make small talk. I am not dating anyone. I am not looking to date anyone. People ask sometimes and I just say I am focusing on myself right now. That usually ends the conversation. Sarah says I should try the apps eventually, but I do not think I am ready for that. I bought a real bed frame last month. I also got a bookshelf and filled it with books from a used bookstore near my apartment. My studio is starting to feel like an actual home. I hung up some photos of my family and friends. I got curtains that block out the morning sun. Work is going well. My boss asked if I wanted to take on a bigger project and I said yes. I have been staying late some nights to work on it. It feels good to focus on something that has nothing to do with weddings or relationships or family drama. I ran into one of Brad's friends at a coffee shop 2 days ago. He saw me first and came over to my table. He said he heard what happened and he was sorry. He said Brad did not tell anyone the full story. He said Brad just told people I got cold feet. I said that was not true, but I did not explain further. He said he figured there was more to it. Then he said he hoped I was doing okay and left. I am doing okay. I wake up in my own apartment. I go to my job. I see my friends and my parents. I go to the gym. I read books. I cook dinner. I watch TV. My life is ordinary and quiet and mine. Now let's move to the next story. Story 2. I caught my parents sneaking my niece to see her drug-addicted father after CPS banned all contact. When I confronted them, they said I was using her to replace the baby I lost. Now I've gone no contact and they're turning the family against me. I, 29F, never expected to become a mother at this point in my life, especially not to my niece Emma, 5F. I'm using a throwaway account and changed some details to protect our identities. Typing this on my phone during Emma's nap time, so forgive any errors. 4 years ago, my brother Kevin, 31M, and his girlfriend Tara, 29F, had only been together for about a year when Tara became pregnant. Kevin later told me Tara had lied about being on birth control. I never particularly liked either of them. Kevin struggled with addiction issues since his teens, and Tara enabled his behavior. They both regularly used various substances and kept questionable company. I only maintained minimal contact because Kevin was family. When Emma was 7 months old, everything changed. I received a call from Child Protective Services informing me that Emma had been removed from Kevin and Tara's care. They lived in a 4th-floor apartment, and CPS had received reports of a baby crying for an extended period with no adult response. When CPS and police arrived, they forced entry after hearing Emma crying and receiving no answer at the door. They found Emma alone in a walker, crying and soiled. Kevin and Tara were located 4 floors down in the building's garden area, intoxicated with several other people. According to the CPS report, Emma had been alone for at least an hour. The apartment contained drug paraphernalia within reach of a crawling baby. Emma was immediately placed in emergency foster care. I couldn't bear the thought of her in the system, so I applied for temporary custody. I had a stable job in healthcare administration, owned my home with a mortgage, and was engaged to my fiancé Daniel, 30M, at the time. After thorough background checks and home inspections, I was granted temporary custody with strict conditions: no unsupervised contact between Emma and her parents. Kevin and Tara were required to attend supervised visits at a family contact center. They showed up to the first few visits, but according to the CPS reports, they often arrived intoxicated or under the influence. Eventually, CPS canceled these visits due to their continued substance abuse. My parents Frank, 59M, and Diane, 57F, also applied for custody, as did Tara's parents, but were declined for various reasons. My parents refused to acknowledge the seriousness of Kevin and Tara's problems. They insisted Kevin was set up and that CPS had no right to take Emma. They ignored how Kevin and Tara became increasingly belligerent with CPS workers, repeatedly threatened to just take Emma back, and continued their substance use while unemployed. 3 months after Emma came to live with me, Daniel and I broke up. He claimed I no longer had time for our relationship. The truth was, he never bonded with Emma and resented her presence. I made my choice clear: Emma came first. I began the process to become Emma's permanent guardian while working full-time. My parents offered to babysit Emma on Saturday mornings while I grocery shopped. I explicitly told them not to allow Kevin or Tara near Emma during these times. After about 2 months of this arrangement, I realized halfway through shopping one Saturday that I'd left my wallet in Emma's diaper bag. I returned to my parents' house unexpectedly and found Kevin and Tara there with Emma. When they saw me, Kevin started shouting profanities at me. Tara threatened to take Emma and disappear. I grabbed Emma and left immediately. I called my CPS caseworker from the car and reported what happened. She advised me to restrict my parents' access to Emma, as they had deliberately violated the court order. From that point forward, my parents were only allowed to see Emma at my house under my supervision. They accused me of volunteering to take Emma just to hurt Kevin. They claimed I was trying to steal Emma because I had experienced a miscarriage nearly 2 years earlier. The accusation struck deep. I had never told anyone besides Daniel and my doctor about the miscarriage. I limited contact with my parents after that. My CPS caseworker, Melissa, was incredibly supportive. She helped me navigate the legal process and provided resources for single parents. My parents despised Melissa, calling her the devil and blaming her for breaking up the family. After Emma's first birthday, my parents awkwardly apologized and asked to see her more often. With Melissa's guidance, I allowed more frequent visits but never left them alone with her. Around this time, I caught my mother telling Emma that I took her from her real parents. I immediately confronted them, causing another rift. They apologized half-heartedly, but I watched them more carefully after that. A few months later, CPS informed me they'd received a report from a concerned neighbor claiming I regularly shouted at Emma. A full investigation followed, including surprise home visits and interviews with Emma's daycare providers. The investigation concluded that these allegations were unfounded. I strongly suspected my mother had made the false report, though I couldn't prove it. Unlike my parents, Tara's parents Robert, 62M, and Helen, 60F, were wonderful to Emma and me. They respected the court orders, never undermined my authority, and genuinely wanted what was best for Emma. Emma spent occasional weekends with them, and they became an important part of our support system. By the time Emma was 2, Kevin and Tara's parental rights were officially terminated due to continued substance abuse and failure to complete court-ordered rehabilitation programs. Kevin disappeared for months at a time, and twice Tara attempted to pick Emma up from daycare without authorization. After the second incident, I implemented strict security measures at Emma's daycare center, making me the only person authorized to collect her. I never pretended to be Emma's biological mother. From the beginning, I explained our relationship in age-appropriate ways. Emma started calling me mommy around age 2, and I didn't discourage it. She has photos of Kevin and Tara in her room, and I answer her questions about them honestly but delicately. Sometimes she asks about them daily, and then months pass without mention. As Emma approached school age, I began the formal adoption process. The legal proceedings were lengthy and expensive, but with Melissa's help, we navigated the system. The adoption was nearly finalized when my parents delivered their ultimatum: if I adopted Emma, they would never speak to me again. They had fought my custody of Emma from the start and had convinced most of our extended family that I was an unfit guardian. Now, with the adoption about to be finalized, I'm second-guessing myself. Am I doing the right thing? I never intended to keep Emma from her family, but her safety and stability must come first. I want Emma to know I'll always be there for her, no matter what. Emma's daycare is 5 minutes from my office, and my boss allows flexible scheduling for emergencies. I'm the only person authorized to pick her up because Tara tried twice to take her. I suspect my mother told Tara where Emma's daycare was located, as I never shared this information with her. Emma is generally a happy, well-adjusted child. We talk through conflicts instead of using because I said so. I've kept all the CPS documentation for when she's older and wants to understand her history better. According to my mother, Kevin has supposedly gotten sober but remains unemployed and couch surfing. I haven't spoken to him in over 18 months. He hasn't attempted to contact me or inquire about Emma. If Kevin or Tara ever demonstrated sustained sobriety and stability, I would consider supervised visitation. Emma's well-being remains my priority. I've remained single since Daniel left. Between work and parenting, dating hasn't been a priority. My life has changed dramatically in 4 years, but I have no regrets about taking Emma. I'd appreciate any reassurance or advice as I finalize the adoption and potentially cut ties with my parents. Update: First, I want to thank everyone who commented on my original post. The support and advice helped me see things more clearly. Many of you suggested I consult with r/raised by narcissists, and wow, that was eye-opening. So much finally made sense about my relationship with my parents, especially my mother. The adoption was finalized last week. Emma is officially my daughter. We had a small celebration, just the two of us. I bought a special cake, and we spent the day at the Children's Museum. Emma doesn't fully understand the legal implications, but she knows that nobody can take her away from me now. After careful consideration, I've decided to cut all contact with my parents. Their ultimatum made the decision easier than I expected. When I informed them that the adoption was complete, my mother launched into a tirade about how I'd stolen her grandchild and destroyed Kevin's chance at redemption. My father stood silently behind her, nodding occasionally. I hung up mid-rant and blocked their numbers. The relief was immediate and overwhelming. No more walking on eggshells, no more defending my parenting decisions, no more worrying about what lies they were telling the rest of the family. Several relatives have since reached out to mediate. I've politely but firmly explained that my decision is final. Emma's well-being comes first, and the constant undermining and drama from my parents was harmful to both of us. I've consulted with my attorney about moving to another city, somewhere with good schools and job opportunities. My current employer has offices in several locations and has tentatively approved a transfer. I'm researching neighborhoods and school districts, hoping to move before Emma starts kindergarten in the fall. Tara's parents continue to be wonderful. They visit regularly and occasionally take Emma for weekend sleepovers. They've respected my boundaries from day one and never tried to undermine my relationship with Emma. Helen, Tara's mom, Even helped Emma make me a Mother's Day card, which I'll treasure forever. As for Kevin and Tara, nothing has changed. Kevin hasn't attempted contact. According to Tara's parents, he's currently living with friends and still struggling with substance abuse. Tara reached out to her parents recently, claiming to be 6 months clean. They're cautiously optimistic but maintaining boundaries. If she maintains her sobriety, I might consider allowing her supervised visits with Emma someday, but that's a long way off. In the meantime, we're establishing new routines and traditions. Emma started a dance class and loves it. I've joined a single parent support group that meets twice monthly. For the first time in years, I feel like we're truly moving forward rather than just surviving. Thank you again for the support and validation. I needed to hear that I wasn't crazy for protecting Emma, even at the cost of my relationship with my parents. I'm confident now that I've made the right choice for both of us. Update 2. It's been about 3 months since my last update. So much has changed, I hardly know where to begin. We moved to a new city about 200 miles away from my parents. My employer transferred me to their regional office with a modest promotion. Emma started kindergarten and has already made several friends. Our new apartment is smaller than our old house, but it's in a secure building with a playground and other families with young children. The distance from my parents has been liberating. No more unexpected visits, no more running into family friends who give me pitying looks or make passive-aggressive comments. A few relatives have my new address, but only those I trust completely. The biggest surprise came about a month after we moved. I received a letter forwarded from our old address, from Tara. She wrote that she's been clean for 9 months and is working a steady job at a call center. She included her contact information and asked if we could establish communication. After discussing it with my therapist, yes, I finally started going, I decided to respond. I set up a P.O. box and wrote back, explaining that I was open to communication but that any relationship with Emma would take time and require proof of her continued sobriety. Over the past 2 months, Tara and I have exchanged several letters. She's attending NA meetings regularly and living in a sober living facility. She sent certificates from her completed rehab program and a letter from her sponsor confirming her 9-month sobriety chip. She doesn't ask to see Emma yet, she understands she needs to prove herself first. What surprised me most was learning that Tara left Kevin a year ago. According to her, his refusal to get help was the final straw. She entered rehab shortly after, initially just to satisfy CPS requirements, but eventually committed to recovery for herself. She works full-time, attends therapy twice weekly, and is taking classes at a community college. I've asked Tara to write letters for Emma that I'll save for when she's older. Tara has written beautiful, age-appropriate letters explaining her absence in terms of being sick and learning to make better choices. She never blames Kevin or makes excuses for herself. Each letter expresses love for Emma without expectations. Tara's parents confirmed her progress and are cautiously optimistic. They visit us monthly, making the 4-hour drive without complaint. Emma adores them and always looks forward to their visits. As for Kevin, he remains absent. Tara mentioned he's still using and has made no effort to get clean. My mother texted me a few weeks ago, from a new number I hadn't blocked, demanding to know where we moved. I didn't respond and blocked that number too. A few of my cousins have sided with my parents, sending messages accusing me of kidnapping Emma. I've blocked them as well. My grandmother, however, surprised me by sending a card congratulating me on the adoption. She wrote that while she doesn't understand all the circumstances, she trusts my judgment and hopes to visit someday. Emma asks about Tara occasionally. I've shown her recent pictures that Tara sent and explained that Tara was sick for a long time but is working hard to get better. Emma seems satisfied with this explanation for now. I'm taking this one day at a time. Tara's recovery seems genuine, but addiction is complicated. I won't introduce her into Emma's life until I'm absolutely certain she can maintain sobriety and be a positive presence. Emma's stability and emotional well-being remain my top priorities. Final update, it's been a year since my last update, and life has settled into a new normal for Emma and me. Emma, now 6F, has thrived in kindergarten and is excited about starting first grade. I received another promotion at work, which came with better hours and allows me more time with Emma in the evenings. The most significant development has been Tara's continued recovery and gradual reintroduction into Emma's life. After 6 months of letter exchanges and phone calls between Tara and me, I agreed to a supervised meeting. Tara's parents were present, along with my close friend Jenna, who has been our rock throughout this journey. The meeting went better than I expected. Tara was nervous but respectful of boundaries. Emma was shy at first but warmed up when Tara brought out a stuffed unicorn she remembered Emma liked as a toddler. We kept the visit short, just an hour at a park halfway between our cities. Since then, we've had monthly supervised visits, gradually increasing in length. Tara has maintained her sobriety for over 18 months now, continues therapy, and recently moved into her own apartment. She works full-time and takes night classes toward a degree in social work. Her transformation has been remarkable. Emma understands that Tara is her biological mother, but she considers me her mom. She calls Tara by her first name, which Tara accepts without complaint. They're building their own relationship, one that doesn't threaten my role in Emma's life. Last month, Tara asked if she could take Emma for a day trip to the zoo. After consulting with Emma's therapist, I agreed. They returned with photos, souvenirs, and Emma chattering excitedly about the elephants. Tara had Emma back exactly when promised and texted updates throughout the day. Kevin remains out of the picture. According to Tara, he's been in and out of jail for minor offenses and shows no interest in recovery. I've received no contact from him, and frankly, that's a relief. Emma rarely asks about him anymore. My parents made one last attempt at contact 6 months ago, showing up unannounced at Tara's parents' home during a weekend when Emma was visiting. Robert and Helen refused to let them see Emma and immediately called me. I consulted my attorney the next day and sent a cease and desist letter. We haven't heard from them since. On a personal note, I've started dating again, cautiously. I met Ben, 34M, through a colleague, and we've been seeing each other for 4 months. He's divorced with a daughter close to Emma's age, so he understands the complexities of our situation. Emma doesn't know we're dating yet, we're taking things extremely slowly. Life is not perfect. I sometimes wonder what my life would be like if I hadn't become Emma's mother. I had plans, finishing my master's degree, traveling, possibly having biological children. Those dreams look different now, but new ones have taken their place. Tara and I continue to navigate our unconventional co-parenting relationship. There are awkward moments and occasional disagreements, but we're united in wanting what's best for Emma. I don't foresee Tara ever having primary custody, but I'm open to her playing a larger role in Emma's life as long as she maintains her stability. As for me, I've found peace with my decisions. Cutting contact with my parents was painful but necessary. Building a new support network took time, but the friends we've made in our new city have become like family. Emma is happy, healthy, and secure. Ultimately, that's what matters. Thank you to everyone who followed our story and offered support. Your advice helped me more than you know. I won't be posting further updates, as our story has become wonderfully ordinary. We're just a family finding our way, like so many others.